2025. I am Pavio G, your host. Welcome to War Notes. I am here with baby Victor in the background, as you all know him. And today we're going to jump right into our latest going on with Venezuela so you can have your latest news and the current facts. Again, I am here to talk about U.S. Venezuela relations that are going on across the Western Hemisphere. And we're going to cover a dramatic escalation at sea, okay? And the political fallout in Caracas and Washington and what it could mean in the broader context of global tensions. So stay with us. We'll have a couple of quick 30-second breaks in between, but otherwise than that, we'll keep it moving. We'll return in less than 30 seconds. I thank you all for being here. If you all are not yet subscribed, please take the time to do so. It is free to do. And I appreciate you all again for being here and taking the time to listen. Again, thank you all for being here. As far as US and Venezuela goes in the oil tanker, there's a major escalation happening. This week, the United States seized a large Venezuelan oil tanker named Skipper in the Caribbean Sea off the coast of Venezuela. President Donald Trump confirmed the action, saying the vessel was taken, quote, for a very good reason, end quote, and that the U.S. planned to keep the oil. The skipper was carrying about 1.8 million barrels of heavy crude and was reportedly under U.S. sanctions for its alleged involvement in an illicit oil transport network tied to Venezuelan and Iranian crude. U.S. Special Forces, including Coast Guard and Marine teams, boarded the tanker by helicopter from the aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford and took control without reported casualties. This is believed to be the largest Venezuelan oil cargo ever seized by U.S. forces and the first such seizure of Venezuelan crude under the current sanctions regime. Now, Caracas does condemn this action and labels it as piracy, which indeed it is. Venezuela's government, led by President Nicolas Maduro, denounced the seizure as an act of international piracy and blatant theft of resources that belong to the Venezuelan people. Caracas accused the United States of targeting its sovereign oil resources under the guise of sanctions or anti-drug enforcement and has called for international support and legal action. Iran and Cuba, long-standing allies of Venezuela, also condemned the move, calling it, quote, aggressive escalation, end quote, and a violation of international law. Maduro himself has responded with fiery rhetoric, vowing to, quote, break America's teeth, end quote, and mobilize Venezuelans to resist foreign pressure. Now, this seizure comes amid a broader U.S. military presence in the Caribbean, unmatched in decades, including warships, aircraft, and over a dozen vessels and estimated 15,000 troops in the region. Since early September, U.S. forces have carried out multiple strikes on vessels alleged to be drug traffickers, killing dozens, a campaign the Trump administration labels a fight against narco terrorism. Legal scholars and some U.S. lawmakers have raised concerns about the legality of these operations, questioning whether they amount to unlawful killings or even attempts at regime change without congressional war powers authorizations. Now, we will discuss very briefly why this matters to you and I both and everybody in the United States and around the world. In less than 30 seconds, we will return. Thank you all for being here. Now, Venezuela has some of the largest proven oil reserves in the world, and PDVSA, its state oil company, is central to the nation's economy. The seizure of a major crude tanker sends a clear message. The United States is prepared to apply maximum pressure against the Maduro regime beyond sanctions, potentially disrupting oil exports and fueling economic crises. The move also risks escalating tensions into a broader conflict. Critics in Washington, including Republican Senator Rand Paul, have warned the tanker seizure could sound like the quote, the beginning of a war, end quote. At the time of heightened global instability from Europe to the Middle East, this confrontation adds another hotspot where miscalculation could have wide ranging consequences. So there we have the latest, folks. Thank you all for listening. U.S. forces have seized a major Venezuelan oil tanker, and a dramatic escalation that has drawn international condemnation and raised concerns of a deeper conflict. Venezuela has called it piracy. Allies have voiced outrage, and lawmakers at home are debating whether this crosses a red line, which in my personal opinion only, I believe that it crosses more than a red line since the date of the Trump administration. We will be watching this story closely because when oil, military force, and politics, when they collide, the world listens indeed. That is your War Notes update. I am Pavio G, your host. Please stay alert. Please stay informed and keep your radios tuned in. Thank you all. Have a beautiful and blessed day. And if you're not yet subscribed, please take the time to do so. Have a beautiful day. Thank you all for listening.